landscape for the country. I mean, this does change where we are, but grateful that there was potentially divine intervention last night.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not only when you think about the former President Trump, but also the people in the audience, the people who died, and you understand the danger. To my mind, picking up on what Mary Catherine was talking about, it just is unsettling. It just makes you feel like the country is, the level of political polarization in the country is at a danger point. It's, I think, a reflection of the divisions within the United States today, not only liberal, conservative, but also on the extremes. This young man now, they say he's a Republican. I don't know. It's puzzling to me. The whole thing is just like, especially with the internet, I think the internet feeds a lot of the extremism that we're experiencing in the country, drives people. The politics of grievance, anger, all the conspiracy theories. We're talking about the investigations about the agencies that were guarding former President Trump. Now it's becoming politicized because of the Republican-controlled House has seemed to take the lead and going after this. Why was this allowed to happen? The convention, I think, will become a more zealous affirmation of President Trump as a martyr for having been shot at, and I think it's going to change the whole tone. I think they may change the schedule of what takes place. Monday was supposed to be about the economy. I think now it may be about security.
Mm-hmm. And we know that was one of the themes for one night. But
this is a quality of political discourse that is sadly becoming quite common.
Sadly.
Wolf, just quickly, Liz Cheney, I don't know if you've read this before. She put out a statement. She obviously has been on the other side with Donald Trump. She said reports of the shooting in Pennsylvania are horrifying. Again, violence of any kind has no place in American politics. I do want to say there was one thing that when I watched the tape, I found odd because of all of the heated rhetoric. And that is that after he was hit, former President Trump got up and said, fight, fight, fight. I think what we're hearing from people is that's not the message that we want to be sending right now. We want to tamp it down.
Yeah, I would just note one thing on this, to that point. His co-campaign manager, Chris LaCivita, just put out a tweet or posted on X, and he made clear in that post, blamed a lot of things, which I think a lot of Republicans, I think we're all hearing. Republicans are mad. There are a lot of Republicans who are mad and believe there was a lot that led to this moment, and they want to blame people for that. LaCivita said, making very clear, you win this, you end this at the ballot box. And I think whether people focus on that is the outcome here, and kind of continue to tamp down, whether it's a benevolent statement or not, whether the focus is on that versus continuing the acceleration we've seen over the course of the last several years, I think is going to be a very real question, and a question that the answer may have very real consequences on over the course of the coming weeks.
It's just kind of a surreal thing, but I know him well. He has an inexhaustible reservoir of energy and strength that's almost inexplicable to us sometimes, but he'll keep fighting, and he should. And look, Willie, this is an important point to make. I saw you were showing some of the text messages of my colleagues in the Senate, the House. They pointed out that the rhetoric has just been over the top. It really has. I mean, there's no figure in American history, at least in the modern era, maybe since Lincoln, who's been so vilified and really persecuted by media and, Hollywood elites, political figures, even the legal system. And when the message goes out constantly that the election of Donald Trump would be a threat to democracy and that the republic would end, I mean, it heats up the environment. We cannot do that. It's simply not true. Everyone needs to turn the rhetoric down.
Agreed. And what is your message?
Just a couple of examples of how much of a mess, let's use that word, a mess. Ron Johnson was on with Jake Tapper on CNN, and I really am disappointed with Jake Tapper these days. There's just I don't even know why they invited Ron Johnson on. What is he going to contribute to the discussion? Maybe he was booked prior to the assassination attempt on the former president, President Trump. But I'm sure CNN are able to have people to book, which perhaps are more relevant to the topic. The reason I say that is because it's quite obvious to anybody there is a divided situation in America. polarization. Everybody has an opinion, and if your opinion doesn't go with a particular mood of the day or the particular whatever the trending topic is, 9 times out of 10, this is led by often the Republican side of social media, the more Trump side of social media, the MAGA side. But Ron Johnson says the reason America is divided, and this is his words, not mine, you can see it coming up, is because of critical race theory. Okay. And on Fox News, Shannon Breen, who normally is trying to be a little bit of a journalist, actually, she must have got a memo. Fox have decided how they're going to treat this whole assassination attempt. It's going to be politicized. Because when a senior person of the Trump inner circle actually says to Shannon Breen, hold up with the politicization of this, you kind of realize where Fox are in this. And that's Fox. Never mind the rabbit hole, which I imagine there are probably certain parts of the internet that right now are, well, I wouldn't even want to start having a conversation about them.
To America.
Do you think that this is a bit of a wake-up call, that rhetoric has gotten so heated? There are accusations and, comments about the fact that electing somebody would be the end of democracy as we know it, that kind of thing. We had former Attorney General Bill Barr say last night, Democrats have got to stop their grossly irresponsible talk about President Trump being an existential threat to democracy. He is not. Where do we go in our political conversation? I mean, this country is built on being able to disagree and do it in a very heated way. But what about this?
Well, it is. But there is no place in politics in any way, shape, or form for this kind of violence, for these types of actions. It's a horrific act. And we certainly don't know all of the details, and we're going to have time for investigations on it. But right now, I think everybody in America needs to stop. They need to pause. They need to reflect on what is actually important for us in this political process going forward. And, fortunately, we are here in Milwaukee, and the show is going to take place. I think it's tremendously important for us as a country that the Republican Party is going to move forward. We are going to be strong. We are going to be resilient, and certainly President Trump is going to be strong and resilient.
Well, we all look.
My tweet was pray for President Trump, pray for America. Pray for the family of the deceased rally goer and 2 individuals that were grievously injured. If this moment can turn into a moment of healing and unity, if people can understand what's at stake and the road we're going down, is President Lincoln that said a house divided against itself cannot stand. I've been saying for quite some time, as much as we're not addressing our debt and deficit issue, I think the greatest threat to America right now is the fact that we're horribly divided. But the good news, Jake, is there's no reason for us to be divided, honestly. If you consider the main goals in life, most Americans, most people globally are in agreement. We want safety, we want security, we want enough opportunity so we can provide for ourselves and our family. Let's focus on those areas of agreement. Let's turn this moment into a moment that helps us down that path of healing and unity. That's certainly what President Trump tweeted today on Truth Social.
I said something about how we all love our country, and I think it's generally true. Most Americans do love their country. One thing that I have found upsetting, if I can editorialize for 1 second, is the degree to which so many Americans claim to love their country but hate their fellow Americans. And I'm not talking about Republicans or Democrats. I see it everywhere, and I'm wondering if that's something that concerns you too.
It does. That's what I said. The greatest threat to our nation right now is we're horribly divided. But again, in general, we share the same goals. So, why are we so divided? Well, there are political figures, there are political groups. I would argue that's what identity politics is about. That's what critical race theory is about. So there are people who are purposely trying to divide us for political advantage. Resist it. Don't let them get away with it. And again, start talking to each other. That's part of the problem.
You shit me! They're shooting! Oh my goodness! Get down! Get down! I'm down! I'm down! Oh my God! Get down! I can't get down anymore! What asshole shooting? Get down, Dad! They're shooting at us!
That's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
We're watching here live this event happening over in Pennsylvania, and
There is something which is kind of interesting about the shooter, whose name I'm not going to mention right now. For a 20-year-old, and is not being patronizing or judgmental to 20-year-olds, but the individual had no social media. I don't think it's because they've been scrubbed or cleaned, but the reports I've read, he had no social media, no Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, no Snapchat, no TikTok. Very little is known at this moment about his motives. There is a story that he was a signed-up member of the Republican Party, but also at some stage had donated $15 to a progressive Democratic setup. The former President Donald J. Trump has released a statement this morning, which I shall read to you. And I'm reading it off the top of my head, so bear in mind if I make a mistake, it's not on purpose. Thank you to everyone for your thoughts and prayers yesterday. As it was God alone who prevented the unthinkable from happening, we will fear not, but instead remain resilient in our faith and defiant in the face of wickedness. Our love goes out to the other victims and their families. We pray for the recovery of those who were wounded and hold in our hearts the memory of the citizen who was so horribly killed. In this moment, it is more important than ever that we stand united and show our true characters. As Americans, remaining strong and determined and not allowing evil to win. I truly love our country and love you all, and look forward to speaking to our great nation this week from Wisconsin. Donald J. Trump, with the emoji of hands together in a prayer. I'm going to share with you some footage. It is new, unseen footage. A warning, the language is quite graphic, but it shows a view from those who are at the rally. It gives a really intense, just recounting what happened.
You shit me? They're shooting. Oh my goodness. Get down. I'm down. I'm down. Oh my God. Get down. I can't get down anymore. What asshole shooting? Get down, Dad. They're shooting at us. The snipers are on the roof. Get him, boys. Get him. They got him? They get him? They carry Trump. Did Trump get hit?
I don't know.
My God, you're leaning over. Oh my God. No, they're covering me. They just covered me. They're protecting him. He's okay. He's okay.
No shit. Panic, calmly. It was planned. It was calm. You know how that shit goes.
Get aside. Get aside.
Yeah!
We gotta get out of here.
Get him, boys.
They're shooting at us.
Go.
Hold on to me.
They gotta get this shit going.
This is a bunch of bullshit.
Well,
I knew it was
USA!
USA!
What happened? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know if you shoot us. The fire, that was